Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum from Texas. My name is Heather, and I came here to tell you the story of how I became a Muslim. So the first thing you have to know is I have many notes so that I don't forget anything. I have hot tea because my throat is a little bit not good. And I also have tissues because usually when I share the story about converting, I start to cry because it's very touching to me. Also, it renews my iman and it makes me feel stronger. So if you're a revert, convert, whatever you call yourself, I encourage you to contact this page, share your story here, share your story with friends, other people, because it's important to remember why you came to Islam. Okay, so if you have a chance, don't be scared. Just contact this page and share your story because inshallah it will bless someone and help them renew their iman as well. So, excuse me, my story, I was working in a child care center, and we had a couple of Muslim families there, very nice. And one day we had a mom who came in, and she was niqabi. She was completely covered. And my boss refused to speak to her. And when I asked her why, she said, because I don't know what is under there, and so I'm afraid. And so I said, please let me speak to her, and you can not do this. And so I went, I talked to the mom, and then she left the school. And when she left, I asked my boss, why did you not want to speak to her? And she said, I don't know what's under there. Maybe she's going to blow up the school. They want to kill us. And I said, who told you this? She said, it is in their Bible. So I said, I don't believe any Bible of any faith says for you to kill everyone. And so me, being the strong-headed person that I am, I went to the bookstore and I bought a Quran and I read it very quickly. It took me 3 months. I was looking for this phrase that said, kill everyone. When I didn't find it, I went back to her and I said, aha, it does not say this. In fact, it says the opposite of this. And then I left this book, but the words did not leave me. And I kept thinking that how similar it was to the Christian Bible, and that Mary was there and Jesus was there, Ibrahim, Moses, all of them, all of the ones that I had learned about growing up as a Christian. And so I thought, I'm going to find out a little bit more. So I started to meet as many Muslims as I could. We have 2 universities in my city, and we have many foreign students. And so I'm sure many of them probably thought that I was crazy because I would see them, I would run to them, are you a Muslim? Let me ask you this question. And I asked many, many questions. Then one day I had a family, Wad and Ali. They were from Saudi Arabia, and they invited me to their home. And so I was feeling a little, I knew them from the school, but I didn't really know them. So I went there, and I was surprised. She was a mom like me, trying to juggle children, studies, cleaning, changing diapers. She was just a regular person. But the thing that wasn't the same was their peacefulness and their kindness and their generosity. And it was so attractive to me. And this, especially the peaceful part. And so I began to meet more Muslims. And no matter where they were from, Kuwait, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, they all had the same peacefulness. And if anything came to them that was negative, it didn't upset them. They were calm, they were peaceful. Okay, here it goes. I told you I'm going to cry. And so I thought to myself, well, my family will disown me if I become a Muslim. So I will find this peace on my own. I can do it. I've always done everything by myself. I will do it. So I left that school. I went to another school. I changed where I lived. I changed my friends. I stopped going out. I stopped dating. I stopped doing everything. But still, I didn't have it. Now, here I am. I'm reading the Quran again. I am looking online, watching videos, asking questions, asking more questions, visiting people, running up to Muslims in the grocery store and asking questions. And I began to think that maybe I was not good enough for Islam. That I couldn't have that peace because I wasn't worthy of it. And so I sort of thought to myself, oh, I'll just watch Islam from the outside and respect it from here because I'm not good enough for Islam to be a Muslim. I've done too many bad things in my life. And so I was working in the summer school, and I had 2 children there from Saudi Arabia. And a child, he was 8, and his name was Saif. And they were talking about Ramadan. And so I joined their conversation, and he said, Miss Heather, how do you know about Ramadan? And I told him, I have studied Islam. I know a little bit about Ramadan. And he said, you're a Muslim? I said, no, I'm not Muslim. He said, why not? No one had ever asked me this before. So then he said, oh, let me guess. You want to drink alcohol? And I said, no, Safe. I didn't do this for many years. So then he said, oh, I know. You want to eat pork. And I said, no, Safe. Actually, I haven't done this in about 20 years because pork is not good for you. And then he said, then why aren't you a Muslim? And I said, I am afraid of what my family will say. And he said something I will never forget. Miss Heather, they are your family. They love you always, no matter what. And this was true. My family had seen me through everything in my life, all the hard times, everything that I had gone through. And so I knew that he was right. So I said, Safe, how do you become a Muslim? I'm sorry, I'm crying. It's always overwhelming to me to relive it. And so he said, I don't know. I was born a Muslim. So we sent an email to the masjid, and we waited. And he didn't answer, and he didn't answer, and the day ended, and the next day came, and he didn't answer. And so Saif's dad came to me and said, Saif told me a story about you, that you want to become a Muslim. Is it true? And I said, yes. And he said, oh, okay. And he got his mobile and said, okay, go there on Saturday. They will be there. Go to the masjid. They will meet you and you can do this. I still didn't know what I had to do, right? So then, as the day went on, it was a Tuesday. As the day went on, I couldn't imagine that Islam was that close to me. Was it that close? Was it just a few days away? And then I started to think, I started to get very happy and very excited. And I thought, I can't wait. I cannot wait one more day. I can't wait. And so when Saif's mom came to pick him up, I asked her, I can't wait. Is there any way I can do it today? And she said, you can do it anytime. If you feel like you want to go to the masjid, go there tonight and we will meet you. We are packing. We are leaving tonight for Saudi Arabia, but we will meet you there. So I went there and I walked in and there were many, this is during Ramadan, there are many women there. They're greeting me. They're saying, Salam alaikum. And I'm thinking, I don't know what that means. Okay, hi. And then I went and I said, Mashallah. And when with my family, Saif's family, his aunt, his mom, his dad, and his little sister. And alhamdulillah that they were there because all that time that I had been moving towards Islam, but I was still on the outside, but safe, alhamdulillah. But excuse me, the innocence of a child, he's the one that opened the door. And so always he is in my prayers and my heart, because if he had not said that to me, Miss Heather, just do it, I would still be waiting, maybe on the outside, watching and waiting. So that was during Ramadan in July. And so, alhamdulillah, there were so many people who came to support me. Instantly, I had this huge family of people from everywhere. I can't even tell you what that's like to instantly have a family. It is the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen in my life. And so I told my dad. My dad said, well, Muslims believe in God too, right? And I said, yes. So he said, okay, fine. My mom was a little bit more skeptical. Now, 5 years later, they have all come around to that this was the best thing for me, because they could see changes in my personality, in the way I live my life, and they are happy for me. They can see that it was the best thing for me. So in February, I went to my boss and said, I have to tell you something. This summer, I became a Muslim, and on Monday, I will start covering my head. And we had a long discussion about it. He allowed me to do it. I didn't have any problems. I had to take, I'm a teacher, preschool. So these children are 4 and 5 years old. And I have to take big scarves and things there because the little girls want to wrap their head and the boys also want to do it. So sometimes we're all there with our heads all wrapped, having fun. And inshallah, I hope that because I'm there with them, that it will plant them a little seed that Muslims are not what they see on TV. 1 year after I accepted Islam, I have a son. He's 13 now. 1 year after I reverted, he reverted as well. So alhamdulillah, we are here practicing Islam and doing the best that we can. I think when I look back on that road, all the people that Allah put in my path, from my first boss, who was mean about Muslims and made me read the Quran because I wanted to be right, all the way, all my friends from Saudi Arabia, all my Imam Muhammad, alhamdulillah, for this person and his family, all of them, how they have touched my life and made the path easy for me. So that is my story. I hope that you like it. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them. Also, like I said in the beginning, if you are a revert, convert, whatever you call yourself, if you have the chance, you should tell your story here. You can contact the admins of this page or tell your story to other people, because especially, I beg of you, if you are American Muslim, to tell your story, because it is so hard to believe that for some people that an American would accept Islam. So I'm a member of 2 interfaith groups, and that's always the question that comes up. Why did you do it? What happened? What were you before? So I encourage you reverts to share your story always. Muhammad, my advice to reverts is to fine-tune your sources of information. Find someone that you really, really trust, who can help you. I don't know how many times I read something in the Quran and I made a phone call to Saudi Arabia in the middle of the night and said, what is the meaning of this? You need to find someone who is willing to wake up in the middle of the night and explain Quran to you. And also, reverts have to be very careful to not confuse Islam with culture, because these are 2 different things. Especially in America, people have an idea about Muslims that they get from the media and from Hollywood. And this is not the same thing at all. So you have to be very careful. Yes, I wear my hijab in public all the time, every day. And I live near Dallas. And like I said, there's 2 universities. So there's many students from many different places. So it's not uncommon for them to see someone in a hijab. There is only a few times that I've had someone say something to me, usually when I start speaking with my Texas accent, then they get confused. And anything maybe hateful that they were going to say, they forget it, because it confuses them that I'm not from Saudi Arabia or the Middle East or something like that. So I've only had one time that a man rolled his window down and yelled at me to go back to Baghdad. And I started laughing so hard, because at this time I didn't have passport. I didn't really know exactly where that was. So I just started laughing hysterically. And he said, why are you laughing? And I said, I don't even know where this is. And he said, are you from here? And I said, yes, I am from here. And then he just drove away. But I do wear my hijab proudly everywhere, and I don't have a problem with this. Sometimes, yeah, you think that, Ahmed, you think that I'm from the Middle East. Sometimes people think this. When I go to the masjid, usually I have people think that I'm from Armenia or Saudi Arabia, which this is fine by me. But when I tell them, no, I'm from Texas, then they say, oh, even I had a Palestinian woman said, you are the real thing. You are a real Texan? And I said, yes, I'm really a Texan. And she reached out and she squeezed me like I was not a real person standing there. I laugh at the story that she thought that I was not a real Texan. So I also can speak Spanish. So when I speak Spanish, then that really makes them, they really can't understand this. They're really thrown off. So Muslims, reverts, how to deal with their non-Muslim families. I will tell you that because my family lives far from me, I had time to prepare myself. And they already knew that I was reading this and that I had friends, Muslim friends. And so I sort of took it slowly. The other thing that I did that my Imam said to me the night that I said my Shahada, he said, do not change everything in your life tonight. Today, Allah helped you take one step. Pray, learn to pray, and Allah will tell you when it's time to take the next step. And so I prayed for 6 weeks before I told my family. And I invited my mom here, and we went to the fair, and everything was nice. And I thought I was going to be able to do it. Then I was feeling like, I'm scared, I don't want to do it. And so it just so happened, one of my friends called me and said, I'm close to your house. I'm bringing a video game for your son. I'm outside, come and get it. And when I went outside, he was my friend Ali, the first Muslim that invited me to his home from Saudi Arabia. And he said, here's the video game. And I just started crying. And he said, what's wrong? And I said, my mom is here. I invited her here. I was going to talk to her. But now I think I can't. And he said, Heather, what did you think she would say? Oh, I'm so happy you are accepting something I know nothing about. It is time. And so I went back in and I told my mother, and she said, I don't understand, but I'm here for you. And so Allah put Ali there with that video game to tell me that it's time, that you can do this. So it's alhamdulillah. When I look back, I can always see at the end of my day people and things that Allah has done to help me. And so that is probably what's my feeling when I make salah. I will tell you a story. I was trying so hard right in the beginning. I wanted to make sure that I did it right. Oh, here's my assistant back here, my cat. I wanted to make sure that I did it right. So I learned to pray in Arabic and in English because I wanted to know what they were saying. And so, yes, Muhammad, I don't know if she's enjoying. She's not the best assistant. But once when I was praying, it was very quiet in the room, and I was praying. And sometimes before my son started to pray with me, before he accepted Islam, he would come and stand behind me and listen to me and watch me. And once when I was praying, he came. I thought he was there. I felt a hand on my shoulder as I was on the prayer row. And when I finished and I turned, no one was there. He wasn't there. He was in his room. That feeling, this is the hand of Allah. And that's how I feel when I pray, that Allah is right there and He is listening to every word. My feeling when my son accepted Islam, subhanallah, I didn't push him to do it, but I will tell you that slowly, step by step, I was talking to him. We went to Kentucky to visit my daughter and the birthplace of Muhammad Ali. And we went to the center, Muhammad Ali's museum. And when you first walk in, on the wall it says, I will never want anything that for myself that I would not want for my brother. And my son said, oh, this is Islam. And I said, yes, this is Islam. Muhammad Ali is a Muslim. And he said, what? You can be a professional athlete and be a Muslim? And I said, yes, you can be a Muslim and be anything you want to be. Astronaut, novelist, policeman, anything, Stefan. And he said, are there other professional athletes? I said, yes, there are. And so he became very interested in the life of Muhammad Ali. Excuse me. And I think this is what sort of opened the door for him, that he saw it as just something I was doing, something that the people at the mosque did, but then he saw someone that he really knew and respected as an athlete. And then he read the story of Muhammad Ali's life, and then he just came to me and said that he wanted to do it. So that is how he came to it. He actually is sort of like me in the fact that he seeks out Muslims. If we see Muslims somewhere, we're shopping, he says, Mom, Muslims, we have to go. And so we go over there and we talk with them and meet them. So it's very good for him as well. I felt probably the most happiest in my life the day that he told me that he wanted to accept Islam. Yes, I know of Jeffrey Lang. I will tell you, when I was first learning about Islam, I watched Yusuf Estes because he's from Texas. And also that Naman Ali Khan. I know I didn't say that correctly, but I watched his videos as well because he also has lives in Dallas. Inshallah, I would love to make Hajj or Umrah. Yes, this is my plan. This is one of the things that I have in my nikah when I married, that our first big trip would be to Saudi Arabia. My husband lived in Saudi Arabia for 4 years, so he's already done Hajj, but this will be our first big trip. We're saving so that all three of us, that we can go together and do this. I'm thinking if no one has any other questions, then I will close. I would just ask you that right now, the way the world is, that all of us come together as one ummah, no matter which kind of Muslim you are, that we all come together and that we become lights of Islam to show the world the true beauty of our faith, because it is not what people think that it is. It is the most beautiful and peaceful and wonderful thing that I've ever experienced in my life. And so, but we must stand together and we must pray. This is the greatest power that we have. We must pray for the world, that the world can have peace. So this is my wish for Muslims. So please enjoy your evening or your day. You can always ask me a question on the page and I will do my best to answer it. And thank you, Muhammad, for giving me this chance to share my story. And masalama.